I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Sparky.
Salty and Chip and Jim.
And Jim. Jim Root, the big homie.
Yes. Whoop.
Shout out to the big homie, Jeremy Ganaway. Like 2 seconds before we... You got something in your hair.
You can get it for me.
I'm not going to. Okay,
Why? I always thought that was so romantic.
2 seconds before...
There goes the romance.
2 seconds before we started this video, the notification popped and the big homie got a shirt. So shout out to you, Jeffrey.
Shout out.
Sorry, Jeffrey. Jeremy, the shirt is on its way.
I mean, not yet.
Chris, thank you. Chris Culp. Look, if you are part of a Patreon alliance and you want the template for how to get your song selected and reviewed, hit up Christopher Culp, Chris Culp in the Village. The guy's got it down to a science.
Okay, there you go, guys.
He just sent an email with all the names and the points.
Wow.
They've got 87 and a quarter points. So, but they lost the coin toss to the True Cult Black Metal group. But anyway.
I thought they had to have 100 points.
No, I knocked it down to 50.
Oh, that's right. I remember that, yeah.
Because somebody was saying, oh, it's going to take too long, but they got it done in like 3 days. So, yeah, so reach out to Chris Culp in the Village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. That gets you into the Village. And then search out Chris Culp because he's got that shit down to a science. Mm-hmm. So there you are. Okay.
Yep, I think it's under Christopher Culp. I'm not sure if that makes a difference.
This is New Millennium Cyanide Christ.
Yeah.
By Meshuggah. So Meshuggah invented gent.
Really?
Yeah, they invented gent.
How do you know this? You know this definitively?
I know this definitively. They just released something last week where like the guitarist or whatever apologized for inventing gent.
Really? Why?
Because I don't know. Remember we saw that video of that guy and he was like showing what it's like to be
yes.
to play gent. It's like, here's my 18-string guitar.
Yes. That was hilarious.
That kid was hilarious. It's funny as hell.
Should we link it? Would you be able to find it so people can see it?
We're too lazy, and I want some time with you before you go take your nap.
Aww.
I wanted to do that thing in the Bible.
Maybe I won't be too tired.
All right, let's go.
Oh, well, let's go.
New Millennium Cyanide Christ. Let's do it. Meshuggah.
All right.
These guys are legendary.
Go.
This is the official video.
Yeah, official.
Fashions that are ripped on letters.
think that's it, boss.
Huh?
Ha ha.
I hope the official video doesn't get blocked. If we don't play if you didn't just see the official with us, that means it got blocked and I had to pull it out.
Sons of bitches.
I really liked the official video. It was so cute. Them all jamming in there together. I feel like that when they finished, they probably were laughing at certain parts, like because they looked like they were having fun. I mean, maybe it's all an act, but if they look like they were having fun, you know what I mean?
Definitely, like not the video you would have expected.
Totally not. First of all, I don't really know what was being talked about because I was really focused on like the music and what they were saying. I think they were talking about, I don't know, people like dying and going. I don't know. Maybe it was negative about God.
It's 1990. I don't think it was negative.
Was it? I don't know.
1998. New Millennium Cyanide Christ.
But anyway, it
Marshall
looked like they were having so much fun in the
Marshall Applewhite. I wonder
who?
97. That was 97. So there was this guy Marshall Applewhite.
Yeah.
Who was part of this cult, Heaven's Gate. He's part of this Heaven's Gate's cult.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there are these kids that discovered this comet. It's called the Hale-Bopp comet.
Hale-Bopp?
Hale-Bopp comet. That's.
Are you saying Bob or Bop?
Bop, B-O-P.
Okay.
So
yeah.
these kids had discovered this comet. This was 1997. So I was in New York. Biggie had just died. I was going to school. PS 144. Pretty sure that's where I was.
Okay.
So it's 1997, and it was like 1 week. These kids had discovered this comet.
What the heck? That's a pretty big discovery.
Okay, so this Hale-Bopp comet or whatever. And then the next week, I was eating cereal. Me and my brother were about to go to school. And on TV, all these people had just killed themselves. Oh, and this guy, Marshall Applewhite, was the leader of this cult. And he was saying that the Hale-Bopp comet was the signal that they were all supposed to basically die and then go up because the comet was basically
to go on the comet. That's
was
how they
the
would
ride out of here. So
he didn't take it though, right?
Yeah, Marshall Applewhite. Yeah, he did.
He did take it?
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's just their people take it.
So it's interesting that this song was written in 98 according to this.
Okay.
And Applewhite, that whole shit happened in 97.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I didn't hear the lyrics.
Well, it's New Millennium Cyanide Christ, and it looks like it's about like killing yourself.
For the cause.
Like it's like being part of some cult and killing yourself. Like that's what I was thinking of. Like Jim Jones. Mm-hmm. He was in Africa. He had like 100 people, and they all drank this Kool-Aid. It was laced with poison.
Well, I knew that, but I didn't know he was in Africa.
Yeah.
I for some reason think that only happens to Americans.
Well, I'm pretty sure he was an American.
And they went and tricked those poor Africans?
Well, I mean, Americans have a lot of clout.
Yeah.
People talk shit, but believe me, if you're an American overseas, like people, like especially if you project yourself as an authority figure,
it's over. It's a wrap.
I mean, I don't know how it is now, but anyway, so Jim Jones is over there in Africa, and Marshall Applewhite. I remember that very, very distinctly. I remember like looking at my brother, and we were like, "What the fuck is going on right now? What is happening?" I am a carnal, organic anagram, human flesh instead of written letters.
Written letters as in the Bible? He's saying he's a real life person instead of some written letters like the Bible?
I guess. I rearrange my pathetic tissue. I incise. I replace. I'm reformed. I eradicate the fake pre-present me. Whoo! That's a cool line. I eradicate the fake pre-present me. Get it?
He's getting rid of the
He's getting rid of his old self. Right? Because his old self wasn't his true self. His true self is the way that he is now.
Yep.
But I think he's killing himself.
Yikes.
Elevate me to a higher human form. The characters I am, make it to a word complete. Then I'll be the new norm. Like, he's gonna go kill himself.
What he's gonna do is gonna become the norm for everybody else to follow him?
It's gonna be like, he's gonna be the next stage in evolution.
Okay.
Basically, like when he does his self-inflicted fractures, I replace my bones with bars. Aluminum bleeding oxide, the drug of gods, into my pounding veins because he's taking cyanide. This guy is smart. God almighty. My receiving eyes exchange with fuses, blindness induced to prevent destruction. Ceramic blades implanted past my ribs to save me from the dews of inhalation. I tear my worthless, useless skin. Staples depended over my ears. Non-receptive, ungodly sounds. I disable the audio generators of fear.
Wow.
That's interesting. And then the next line. Hexagonal bolts to fill my mouth, sharpened to deplete. The creator of all violence. Without speech, there will be no deceit.
Whoa.
So he's like destroying his mouth.
Yeah.
The creator of all violence.
Yeah.
Your mouth is a creator of all violence. That's an
Well,
interesting
isn't there a
thought.
verse that says that basically in the like people's words are on their tongue, it's set on fire by the flames of hell or something like that, like
James,
and then
yeah.
it also says life and death are in the power of the tongue.
Right.
You know?
Right. So instead of reforming, it's you destroy it. Destroy
Right.
your mouth. Because if you can't speak, you can't lie. Without speech,
Well,
there is no deceit.
I mean, I don't agree with that.
No, I get it, but it's like, you know, like think about it like my receiving eyes exchange with fuses, blindness induced to prevent destruction. Because what you see leads to destruction a lot of the times. You know what I mean? So it's like it's taking these like issues of human nature
Try
and
to
like
fix them.
and destroying them.
By destroying him. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Baptized in vitriolic ice acid, a final touch of smoothing of features. Golly.
Growth.
Yeah, that'll smooth your features out. Watch all. Completion of the greatest art to cast the godly creatures, humans, once astray, made divine, stripped of congenital flaws, were incandescent revelations in a world of dark and formed. Yikes.
Whoa.
Disciples, come join with me to save a failed humanity. Follow the god of cyanide into the new eternity.
Yikes! What the hell?
Behold, the sacrificial race in cleansing, worshipping of pain. The new millennium Christ here to redeem all from lies. 1998, so there's all that year 2000 shit going on, you know what I mean?
What's the cyanide stuff, though?
Well, these cult leaders always have these people take cyanide and they die.
Oh, it's
drink it.
that's what's in the Kool-Aid is cyanide?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
What is cyanide really used for?
I forgot. It was like, I think it's like to strip metal or something like that. You take it inside and it like tears you up and stuff. Yeah, it's a really fucked up way
That
to
must be
die.
really painful.
Ugh.
Yikes. Wait,
Go ahead.
was it cyanide gas that they used in the
No, it's Zyklon.
concentration camp?
The Zyklon B.
Oh, that's right. I remember you saying that before. Okay. Cyanide is familiar to me. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I'm sure I'll think of it when I'm trying to fall asleep.
But that's interesting. So we reviewed the misanthropic black metal song where it was like, let's kill everybody, red sky, da 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 da. This is on the other side. It's like, yes, there's a problem with human beings, and so like we need to kill ourselves and sacrifice ourselves basically to cleanse the human race. Like, so once again, you're running into this like concept that something is wrong with human beings. But I think this is kind of like
Poking fun at it.
well,
in
it's
a way?
like it's satirical, I guess. It's like you're supposed to look at it and go, this is fucking crazy. But it's like, well, these religious people keep telling us that there's something really wrong with us. Like everything about us, there's something wrong with it. There's something wrong with our eyes. There's something wrong with our mouth. There's something wrong with, our body. Everything about us is wrong. And like the idea that, when he goes earlier where he talks about I eradicate the fake pre-present me.
Yep.
I think that concept of like you have to be born again, or
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
or we both of us have grown up in the church, so we don't realize how offensive terms like die to your old self and die to yourself is. you're saying that something is inherently wrong. Something is so badly wrong with you that it has to die.
Yeah.
Like, that's mega offensive.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Yeah, but I feel like that just when you say that, it can sound very offensive to people. But I feel like we see it over and over in the metal music where they're saying, you know, like, eradicate, you know, death or stuff like this. Like, I feel like that there's... that they kind of have an understanding that something needs to die here because... But they misunderstand what it means and then you think you should just kill everybody. Some of the songs, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and we're listening to an interview with Mick from Slipknot where he said, I've listened to a bunch of gory, terrible shit. I've never once had the inclination to actually do that shit. Mm-hmm. So, like, yeah, I mean, they're talking about killing people and all this, but they never actually want to do it. But the concept that we talk about, though, when we tell people that they have to die to their old self is much different. Because what they're saying is humanity as a whole sucks.
Right.
And we're saying, yes, humanity as a whole sucks. The issue is you're a human. Mm-hmm. It's like, a lot of the times when it's like... It's very ironic because metal people will say Christians are so judgmental. But I've heard so much judgment of the human race in metal music in the last 3 months. And
that's true.
It's like...
I didn't realize that. Like,
but and it's like, it's the posture is always like an outsider judging humanity. It's almost universally... You're outside of it judging fucked up humanity as if you're not part of humanity. And I think our message is simply, well, sure... Humanity's fucked up, but we can't stand outside of it as if we're not humans too. Mm-hmm. Which then means that all of us have a problem.
Right.
But this guy, it's basically saying what we're saying and then pulling it out to the extreme form. So it's like your eyes, like if you really think about it, we're saying that like every form of, you know, the doctrine of total depravity, like every aspect of the human being is flawed and terrible. Like, so the receiving eyes are bad, your ears are bad, you know.
Yeah.
The staples to pin it over my ears, non-receptive of ungodly sounds. You know, like, so get rid of your ear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's almost like a bastardized version of like if your eye causes you to sin.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Right? So it's like, it's a real commentary, and then words like disciples. It's not necessarily attacking Christianity explicitly per se, even though the thing's called New Millennium Cyanide Christ. But it's like taking a lot of the ideology about what sin is and then stretching it out and saying basically like, oh, so should I tear my eyes out? Should I do something with my ears? Should I do something with my mouth? Because like all these things are problems in your worldviews, and let's just kill it. Let's just kill ourselves then. Because if everything about us is that fucked up, we should just die. Because that's the ramifications here. It leads him to like, they basically, you know.
You know, at the beginning he was saying. At the beginning he's saying that he rearranges his pathetic tissue. He's like talking about himself like he's okay. I eradicate the fake pre-present me, elevate me to a higher human form, and the name of the song is New Millennium Cyanide Christ. So do you think, okay, in like he's talking about himself at first, and he's saying like he's getting rid of the fake whatever, and now it's the new him that's actually the true him. And then do you think that that's why New Millennium Cyanide Christ, like the old Christ, that's a fake one, this is the new one, the new like cyanide, like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, although like everybody, all these disciples become the Christ, right? Because it says, follow the God of cyanide into the new eternity, behold a sacrificial race. So Christ sacrificed himself, but these guys are going to be a whole race of people who sacrifice themselves.
Then it says the New Millennium Christ here to redeem all from lies.
Right, because collectively,
they become the Christ.
Right, because they're worshiping pain and they're sacrificing themselves, they collectively become the Christ.
And how do they redeem from lies?
Because they're going to be well, no, because they're the next stage in humanity. Remember, he said we're basically the next evolution.
Okay, so the all is the next generation.
Right.
Oh.
Right, because they're gonna change it, and then of course the song "Here to Redeem All from Lies," and then the song ends in lies. That's basically everything above it.
Yep, is a lie.
Smart writing.
Yeah.
This guy's a really smart writer. I was talking to somebody in the chat when we were doing the fireside, and Sori will let you guys know when the next fireside is. But I was talking to somebody, and he was talking about how Nietzsche said that Christianity was the ultimate form of nihilism. And he said, what did you think of that? And I gave him a 2-minute answer, but I would have loved to have a discussion with the guy. But basically, Nietzsche said that Christianity was the ultimate form of nihilism because Nietzsche, now granted, he wasn't around a lot of post-millennialists, but Nietzsche interpreted Christianity as everything is so terrible and fucked up here, so we're looking for the afterlife. Everything was focused on the afterlife.
Yeah.
Which means that you're nihilistic about this life. Because you're like, you're done with this life. You just want to die and go on to the... Well, then you're a nihilist. Right? Because what's the difference between a person who says, everything in this life is empty, therefore I should kill myself? That's like basically traditional nihilism, right? Mm-hmm. Or nihilism, whatever. Versus a person who says, everything is fucked up here, therefore it's better that we die so that we can go off and be with God. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're still saying that life here is empty and meaningless.
Yeah, but we don't say that life here is meaning.
Who doesn't?
Christians.
I think there are versions of Christianity that are actually extremely nihilistic.
I think you're right.
I think the common version of Christianity in America right now is actually very nihilistic.
Well, I think that's communicated through the rapture theory, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
we're just
things are just so bad
we're
here.
We're just holding on for dear life until that
and then
cloud comes and gets us.
God's gonna zap you out of here, right? Which is
I'll leave all my debt behind.
Which is what we grew up with, right?
Yeah,
but it's a real nihilistic way of looking at the world, and then there's no reason to like enact change in the world, and there's no reason to do anything and get involved in social issues and things like that because you know. It's you know, and it's really, it is true. It's like very nihilistic. It's like, you know, what did MacArthur say? God bless him, I love him, but he basically said like Christian social activism is rearranging the furniture on the Titanic, right? Which is basically, why are you doing all this stuff? Get everybody a lifeboat. That's what you need to do. Stop fucking rearranging shit. Of course, MacArthur didn't say it like that, but So I thought that was a very, and he was right. I mean, Nietzsche did basically make that argument, and I thought I looked at it, I was like, that's a dumb argument, and I'm like, well, wait a second, you know, we have a very nuanced understanding of how the world is going to work. Yeah. So it's like this kind of picks up on that idea a little bit, like everything is bad, everything is suck, everything is terrible, so everybody should just die. He's basically saying, if you're right and human beings are this bad, then we should just all die. And that's why I've like made a point to say I'm not a very big afterlife person. Yeah. Not that I don't believe in an afterlife. I absolutely believe. Here's something. I know there is an afterlife. Right. A lot of people are going to be like, well, no, you can't. You can't say that. They know that I can't say that I know about the afterlife. How can you know that? Things. You don't know that. The best you can do is say, I think you shouldn't say that you know. But the minute that you tell me that you know that I can't say that I know about the afterlife, then you're just making a statement about full knowledge of the afterlife, in which case you're not being consistent, which, okay. So, yeah, that's why I always talk about being a very this world oriented. Yeah. Because I think that, and I hate to say our brand of Christianity, but the scripture as we sees it, as we see it, is extremely this world oriented. Mm-hmm. Jesus' message was not repent because you might die in 40 years. Right. It's the kingdom of God is at hand. God is coming. Change now because the world is I'm transforming the world into something else. Right. And of course there are problems with your eyes and your mouth and your ears. You know that. Yeah. I mean, that's obvious. Right. The vast majority of the problem, 90% of the issues you've ever run into in your life probably find their locus in your ears, your mouth, and your eyes. If you really, really thought about it. So it is a problem, but the question is this the solution? And all the rest of it. Is there a way to acknowledge that part of you, there's parts of you that need to die and other parts of you that need to be risen from the dead without completely being a completely misanthropic, nihilistic person?
It's interesting because... sorry. I kind of interrupted you.
No, it's okay.
Because
nobody cares when you women-splain me, so it's all right.
It's interesting because he's explaining that the change has to happen, and it's all like these outward things, like with his physical form.
Right.
Changing nothing of the spirit or the soul of the person, but just his outside to try to somehow salvage the thing and create a new humanity. A new humanity does need to be created, but it's a change that comes from the inside. And like, yeah, I mean, sure, like in our belief system, we are going to get like renewed bodies. Like obviously, like these flesh and blood bodies can't last for all eternity. But the change comes from inside of us, and it's in our spirits and our souls where we begin to change. And then that, like, you can make all the changes on your outside physical flesh, but that doesn't change how you are on the inside. Like, you can look like a really, really nice, awesome person, but you can be a fucking terrible, terrible person in your heart. And you can do things for bad motives, even though you look like you were, you know, super kind. I remember that there was a time where I was feeding homeless people, and I was like cooking up a ton. I was like working so hard, and I remember thinking like, wow, this is so like every time I'm on this fucking grill. Of course, I didn't say fuck at that point. I'm stuck on this grill every single time, and I'm so tired of being on this grill, and nobody else does it. Well, at least I'm the only one that's on this grill. Like, I'm being a good person by being. And then like he was like, God was like, look at you. Mm-hmm. Like, there I was, like, flipping eggs. So fine, I was cooking up some eggs. But in my heart, like, I wasn't serving the people, like, oh, my word. And I was like, I remember thinking, like, wow, like, I looked like, if you walked in, you'd be like, oh, whoa, look at this person feeding the homeless. But all the while, like... You
didn't realize the honor that you, or the privilege that you had in serving those people.
No, I didn't. Yeah. And it was just...
At that time.
At that point, yeah. That night, you know, like, there was nights where I was good, but there was nights where I was, like, I think felt pity on myself for being stuck on the grill, you know? But
I remember, I want to be talking to the people, not grilling.
Right.
Yeah. The point is the heart is the problem. It's not all these.
And the thing is, you can't see inside of somebody else, so you don't know. But God sees inside of us, and so He knows where we're at, and He knows that that's what needs to change first.
Well, it's interesting because it says we're incandescent revelations in a world of darkened forms. You know, there's a passage in Philippians where it says, "Do everything without grumbling and complaining, because
you'll shine like stars in the universe."
Of which you shine like stars in a darkened universe. Mm-hmm. You know. But this is sort of like the bastardized, arrogant version of it. Mm-hmm. This is we are the incandescent revelations in a world of darkened forms. Mm-hmm. Well, somebody is.
Yeah.
The thing is, somebody is. Like, there is a way to be an arrogant jerk about, you know, the concept of light and darkness, right? Mm-hmm. But it's interesting because Jesus never pulled the punches. He says, I'm the light of the world. Mm-hmm. Period. Mm-hmm. So he was saying that. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. But I understand it from like an outsider's perspective. Like, oh, you're an incandescent revelation in a world of darkened forms, are you? Uh-huh. Really? I remember one time I had a friend and he looked at me and he said, who do you think you are? I said, I'm an instrument of the redemption of the world. He was like, what the fuck? he just like, it looked like he didn't know whether to like burst out in like ending laughter.
Yeah.
Or like to scream and run away. Or to
be like, tell me about this.
Yes, that. There was something like, where?
Yeah.
Because he was like looking at me like, he really believes this shit.
Yeah.
And so he was just kind of like, didn't know what to say, got very, very red.
Yeah, well, it's funny because when you think way back, when we're talking about the Bible and how it like goes over like long periods of time, it's not like something that's just like fits in one time period. It's a 10, guys, because you can put it in the time zone. You know, the time
capsule.
The Bible
is a 10 million. Yeah.
So anyway, remember how it said like wait at the beginning, God promised Abraham that him and his children would be a blessing to the nations.
Right.
And so like that's part of what we're doing with this channel is like we want to bless the nations, and people from all different places are saying, oh my gosh, like what you guys are doing really helped me out, and blah blah blah. So I'm like, this is cool. Like we're fulfilling that, and we weren't even trying to do that. Like all we were trying to do was you were just trying to show me some music and see me react to it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's cool
it's you know,
it's like this backdoor, like, oh yes, and we're doing something.
And it's not like, but I mean but see that, like, it. He says, I will make you a blessing.
Yeah, that's true.
So the point is, who you are yourself, period, without doing anything, is a blessing.
Right.
And so if you just be who you are, that's the blessing. I'm just sending you a shirt. I just like, oh, boom, we came up with a shirt, boom. Like, but it blesses people. You know, like,
we're just gonna create a video.
Yeah, we're just gonna create a video. A lot of it is just like, you know, we go on for a very, very long time. But I don't know, like people, you know, it connects people to another human being and all that. So it's like, so there's a way to say a line like that in a very arrogant, delusional, self-important way. Yeah. And then there's a way to look at that and say, well, wait a second. We are in a dark world, and the world does need light, and people do need love. And if you're one of those people that have found some light, because you know, from in our tradition, Jesus is the light of the world, and then he's in us, and then once he's in us, he says, you are the light of the world, right? You are the light of the world. The city on a hill cannot be hidden, right? So like, he's the light, and he's like the source of the light. He's like the sun, and then boom, like the sun comes to live in us, and so anything good that you see in us is him, and anything bad that you see in us is us.
We're like those solar panels.
Yeah.
We heat it and then we can shine it out.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Let us go 2 days without the sun. We're not doing well.
Well, I mean, you got 2 minutes.
Right.
Forget it. So like, I don't, you know, but I get it. Like, this is like the bastardized, spooky cult way of like people who are self-important and think that the entire world is dependent on them and all this shit. Please, the world is doing fine without me, and it'll do fine when I'm gone. But I'm gonna leave my fucking mark while I'm here, for good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. What do you got?
8.5.
So I was trying to figure out like the genty stuff, because it got really repetitive. But then there were some subtle rhythm changes, and I'm like, okay. Like, these guys are either very, very, very smart, and you have to listen to them, like, 6 or 7 times. Because I feel like if we listen to them 6 or 7, because I was really listening to the music, too. Because, like, after the first stanza, I said, okay, lyrically, this is a badass song, like, lyrically. So I knew, so I was like, all right, I took 70% of my brain and was, like, really focusing on the music. And I was having such a hard, of course, like, toward the end, like, it became very accessible. But like, I was having a hard time, and I was like, wait a second, that's a signature, it's changing, it's different, but it's subtle, because they're palm muting pretty much the entire, because you know how I'll play, I'll go, you know, and then you open it up, and then you do some scale work, but it, like, the whole time, they're just down, you know, palm muting. It's like,
Is that what it, and then it stops?
Well, no, I mean, it just like the whole, the chunky sound, they're just palm muting.
Okay. So, what do you give it?
There's not a lot of, but there's, what did you give it?
I gave it an 8.5. What are you giving it?
I'll give it an 8.6.
Oh, I thought you were going to give it a 6.
No, I wasn't going to give it a 6.
That's what this meant, 8.6. That's what I meant.
You can't give a song like that a 6.
Because of the lyrics.
I give it an 8.6 because, 1, because of the lyrics, and 2, I wanted to rate it higher than you so that I could feel like I have more, like, knowledge about metal than you.
What the fuck?
So I feel like, I could say, like, hey, she only gave it an 8.5, but I gave it an 8.6 because I get Jed. I mean, that's literally the only reason I gave it an 8.6, so. That's enough fodder for people to say that I'm a poser. Vin out.
Sori out.
I'm gone. At least I'm honest, bitch.
And immature. Bastard.